This is the North Star Takes podcast with Bailey Policki and Jacob Liberta. You can find all our videos here on our YouTube channel, so hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. And feel free to give us a like on this video as well, as we're going to be discussing Minnesota Vikings, Carolina Panthers Week 6 matchup. And basically a must-win for the Vikings, it's looking like at this point, considering their schedule coming out of the bye week is against a bunch of winning teams with really good quarterbacks, especially the way this season's shaking out. So Carolina Panthers started off 3-0. Now they're 3-2. They've lost 2 games in a row. Sam Darnold looks much improved from his time with the Jets, but still a little suspect, I think. I think he's been a little overblown in terms of how good he's been this year, but their defense is the one thing that's really been legitimate. They have a very good defense this year. So let's kind of get into the Vikings side of it first. Obviously, they've had a lengthy injury report this week with notably Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen not practicing through Wednesday and Thursday this week. So do you think they're just trying to be safe with these guys? Do you think that there's actually a chance these guys missed a game? I mean, this video is going to be released before the injury designations come out for the weekend. So what's your gut telling you on these guys playing?
Yeah, I think we're just playing it safe. I think that if I had to pick one that'll play for sure, I'd say Jefferson. I feel like that's just really being cautious with your young star player. Both Thielen, it's possible that he could be out. I think uh, honestly, I think it was pretty visible to the fans watching on TV that he was a little bit banged up in that game last week,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it showed his production too. Like he didn't really get a lot of looks last week, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure some of that's probably not even injury related, obviously, but like I think some of it might have been, and I think it wouldn't really shock me if him at his age, especially, missed a game like this weekend right before the bye
Mm-hmm.
week, give him an extra week and give him a couple weeks before we come back out of the bye when it's going to be really important, but. Um, yeah, I could definitely see them missing out, but I could also see both of them suiting up on Sunday. It's really anybody's guess. I know injuries can be a little tricky sometimes. They just come down to game time decisions. But
Yeah.
what are you thinking about it, Bailey?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say, I mean, Jefferson came out today and said that he's planning on playing against Carolina this weekend, which, Dalvin Cook kind of said the same thing last week, and then he ended up not playing. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it might be a little gamesmanship trying to make Carolina prepare for him. I don't know, but yeah, you were right. Like Thielen, you could visibly see he was banged up last weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play this Sunday going into a bye. Like it's just maybe that extra week of rest will be really helpful. Jefferson, I don't know. I think he'll be able to bounce back and play. I think maybe they're just being extra cautious with him, which is probably smart, honestly. Don't make that injury any worse, and then recover over the bye week. So
Mhm.
if we are without them, it's going to be a tough challenge. I think. I mean, I love KJ Osborne, but I mean, we've yet to see him be wide receiver one in any scenario. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, D.D. Westbrook's got experience too, and maybe Amir Smith-Marset gets in the mix a little bit too, if that's the case. I don't know, but they also brought our friend Dan Chisena back on a 2-year
Yes,
contract, which is just a strange signing, but
he's got that raw speed. Just throw him out there, run him on some go routes, and see what happens.
right, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but on the bright side, having to maybe rely on the run game more with the receivers out, Dalvin Cook is back to a full participant in today's practice. It's looking like he's going to be ready to go, which I was kind of thinking maybe it'd be nice to rest him one extra week and then give him the bye week as well. Then he can come out of the bye week at just 100%, but he must be feeling good enough to go if he's having full participation in practice. So obviously it'll be huge getting him back. And what do you think his impact on this game will be?
Oh, it's massive. I think this will make or break us this week, really. I think Carolina, obviously, when you look at their defense, it looks pretty stout. And I think it'll probably start with winning in the trenches. And we're obviously a run first offense. So leaning on Dalvin and hopefully our offensive line can establish at least a run game.
Yep.
I think that's going to be critical to us winning or losing this game. So I think getting Dalvin back in the mix is always good. Him and Jefferson are best players on offense, so it's always good to put the ball in his hands, albeit, as we always talk about, with like a different philosophy with maybe more of a pass first mindset. But at the same time, I can't disagree with giving Dalvin a bunch of touches either. And I think he could definitely go out there and win us this game against a team that we'll talk a little bit more in a little bit about if we think they're good or not. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's just a game that really is 50-50, or I'd lean more towards 50-50 and probably more favorable than matchups like you mentioned that we got coming up after the bye.
Yeah, exactly. Like in a must-win situation like this, it kind of makes sense why maybe Dalvin would push to play. he probably feels like he needs to be out there for his teammates, and I understand that. And we've kind of yet to see like a true classic Dalvin performance this year, so it'd be nice to see him go out there. I mean, the Cardinals game was pretty good, but then he got banged up in the second half, so it'd be nice to see him go out there, run for over 100, get a couple touchdowns, and get this team back on track and let Kirk start utilizing play action once again and all that. So all that comes with Dalvin Cook. You really don't have to establish the run with him. I mean, the run is established once he steps foot on the field. So
Exactly.
well, yeah, let's get into the Panthers though. We kind of talked about like how good their defense is. So overall, do you think they're actually that good? They've lost 2 in a row, but Sam Darnold looks improved. Like I think this is a tougher matchup than what we originally might have thought.
Yeah, I think they're a formidable opponent. I think, especially on the road, it's always tough to win games in this league. So I think you definitely got to respect them. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, as we've already talked about, their defense is pretty good. They got the duo on the ends with Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns. They've combined for 9.5 sacks this year, and that's obviously very impressive when they've only played 5 games. So
Yep.
that cannot be unnoticed. And then their pass defense also ranks number 1 in the league in pass yards allowed so far. And then their run defense is also very good in its own right, 8th overall. And then they also rank 3rd in points allowed was 17.4 per game. So
Wow.
across the board, doesn't really matter what facet they're pretty good. And I think we definitely have to come in with a good offensive game plan if we're going to muster up enough points to win this game. And then as far as offensively goes for this Panthers team, I think I think the jury's still out. I'm not totally convinced yet. I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy.
No.
And sure enough, he won the games that he should, and he cleaned up on some lesser opponents. But these last couple of weeks, they've dropped games against, what has it been, Dallas, and then Philly last week, and honestly just blowing a lead and letting them come back in the game and win it. That's
Yeah.
not a good look. So I think this offense, there's still more to come, whether if they're really legit or not. But at the same time, they haven't had their full complement of weapons either, namely Christian McCaffrey's been in and out. So I think
Yeah.
that definitely hinders what their offense is capable of. So I think they're a respectable team. I don't think they're like great by any means, but I think they're pretty solid, and you definitely have to show up if you can win.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, especially after that, what we saw against the Lions last weekend.
Yeah.
Like
Like
you
that's not getting
really
it done.
no, you really can't take any team in the NFL lightly. So you have to prepare as if they're the Chiefs, you have to prepare that they're a really good team. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Christian McCaffrey plays this weekend. I know his coach said he's about 50-50 right now, but he didn't practice on Thursday as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that shakes out. It could be the Dalvin versus McCaffrey show, or it could be just Dalvin. So obviously that's going to be big. Just 2 huge players on both sides of the ball. Probably the first 2 picks in a lot of fantasy drafts this year as well. So,
Yeah, good point.
so yeah, that'll be interesting. Let's get into some score predictions here. How are you feeling about this week? I guess. Do you think we get into the bye week on a little bit of a hot streak here, get it back to 500, and figure some stuff out over the bye, or do you think we go into the bye at 2-4 with a difficult schedule looming and season most likely over?
Give me that dub. I think we're gonna come in here and win a gritty game. Albeit we don't do that a lot with Kirk and company, but I think we're gonna do it this week. I think our defense will show up, and I think we'll minimize what Carolina can do offensively. I don't think we're gonna do a lot offensively against this pretty great defense so far through 5 weeks. So I think it's gonna be a low scoring affair, and I'm gonna say we win. Let's say 1916. Let's go with
Oof.
that. I think this is going to be a slugfest, and we're going to come out on top because I think Dalvin will be able to run the ball just enough to carry us to a bunch of field goals, in my opinion. So I think that's what's going to get it done.
So basically last week's score almost, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 19. That's right. Yeah, we won 1917 last week. Yeah, yeah.
Funny how that turns out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have us losing this game. I think it's the
Really
same thing.
drawn.
It's gonna be an ugly, low scoring game. I think our offense is gonna look really bad. So I'm gonna say we lose. Maybe I'll do like 17-13.
Okay.
So just kind of a pathetic overall offensive performance. And I think we'll go into the bye really questioning Clint Kubiak, and there's going to be all sorts of controversy. Zimmer made the comment today about how he's making like the offensive staff watch film and study what's going wrong, and maybe talking about scripting the first few plays of the second half, which is very rare. So you can already kind of tell things are getting a little rocky there. So if the offense has a poor performance in this one, I could see there being some issues, especially heading into the bye. So I don't know. I think it's getting a little sketchy here for Clint.
I'm disappointed you're not drinking that purple Kool-Aid, Bailey.
No, after last week, it's so hard to envision us winning a gritty game like that. I mean, it's a different Vikings team every week, but I just
Which is
really have
that's
to
a problem on its own. But
exactly, and I really have to see it to believe it with this team because, especially with the upcoming schedule, it's like, yeah, I mean, all those teams are better than us right now, but we could easily just upset them. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, I don't know, man. Carolina's a tricky team.
Relax, relax. We're
Yes.
gonna run the table.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. But yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to hit that like button if you're a Vikings fan. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. Give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram, and leave your comments below about how you're feeling for this game. If you think the Vikings can pull off the dub, if you think Kirk Cousins will put this team on his back and lead us to a nice victory, or if you think it's going to be a complete dumpster fire and we're going to go into the bye calling for people's jobs. So, yeah, leave those comments below, and thanks for watching.